Vega has more now on what is going on inside the White House right now. Good morning, Cecilia.
Hi, Amy. Good morning to you. So, yeah, the reality is certainly starting to set in among the Trump team anyway, that this has slipped away from them. There are these conversations that have been happening among many about possibly trying to convince the president to make a graceful exit, lean into the potential for him to be a party kingmaker in future elections. There's also a camp, though, that is hesitant to have that conversation with him directly, to sort of just give him a few days to come to grips with this reality that he has indeed lost this race. There's also, however, another camp, including those like Rudy Giuliani, who are saying, fight this, stay in this fight. We will continue to file these legal challenges. They're actually expected to file another legal challenge later today, even though almost all of them, all but one of the challenges they have filed so far, have been tossed out. Now, the president this weekend, you saw the images. He was out there on the golf course most of the weekend. In fact, he was on the golf course when the news came in that Biden had won this race. We don't expect to see him officially, nothing on his public schedule today. On the other hand, Vice President Mike Pence, he is going to be leading one of the White House coronavirus task force meetings today, ironically, given that Biden team announced their coronavirus task force as well. And Amy, we hadn't seen Vice President Pence in that role for the first time. This is going to be the first time in a few weeks we've seen him at one of those meetings.
And Cecilia, reaction has already started to come in from around the world. Leaders, including Trump allies like Boris Johnson, Benjamin Netanyahu, have already been congratulating Biden on his victory, correct?
Yes, so many allies not waiting for President Trump to concede to call and make those congratulations. You mentioned it. Israel, India, Britain, even Saudi Arabia, they've all called Vice President-elect Biden to congratulate him. Two big ones, though, silence from them this morning. Our neighbor to the south, Mexico, and Russia. Vladimir Putin has yet to call and congratulate. They say they're waiting for what they're calling the final results to be in before making that phone call, Amy.
All right, Cecilia Vega in Washington for us. Thank you. Robin?
Okay, Amy, and as you can imagine, this
Cecilia Vega is there, the president, making false claims about the election, still refusing to concede.
Continuing, that is the big question, George. He doesn't have anything on his public schedule today. He spent most of the weekend, in fact, golfing. But he is right now up and tweeting. He's tweeting about the stock market, this potential for good news on a COVID vaccine. But you're right. The really big question this morning is when and if he will actually concede this race. We know the reality certainly is setting in for many on his team behind the scenes. There are these conversations happening about whether they could convince him to perhaps exit gracefully, to potentially take on the role of a kingmaker in the party in future elections. But in the meantime, his team is still pushing ahead with these legal fights. He's got Rudy Giuliani in his ear telling him, don't give up, keep fighting. They plan to file another legal action today, even though almost all of them, except one so far, have been tossed out. Now, this morning, a number of allies, they're not waiting for the president to concede. They have called President-elect Joe Biden to offer their congratulations, among them Britain, India, Israel. They've all made that phone call. But George and Amy, two big names so far have not. The president of Mexico and Vladimir Putin, they say they're waiting for the results to come back in. Amy.
All right, Cecilia Vega in D.C. Thank you.